Welcome to my video. Today we're going to be discussing facing reality. At the end of the day, you're going to have to face all sorts of things in the life that we're in, and facing the reality that is presented to you, facing the reality that you find yourself in, is part of getting through whatever comes your way. It's part of getting over anything that you are faced with. And facing the reality as far as mentally, if you're mentally facing a reality of something that you never thought you'd have to face when it comes to mentally, something that you never thought you'd have to deal with when it comes to mentally, have that perseverance. Be strong when it comes to mentally. Don't let it overcome you. Don't let the reality that you're faced with have you in a space of thinking that you're mentally not fit, or that you're mentally not strong enough to get through whatever it is that you're dealing with. Don't ever allow something that you're facing, or a reality that you have to face, have you struggle when it comes to mentally. Maybe you're gonna have to get through that struggle, and by being strong when it comes to mentally, you'll be able to get through that struggle. But if you're ever faced with a reality that has you mentally, in a defense, or mentally on the defense, or mentally going through a tough time, or facing a tough reality, facing a hard reality, knowing that you're going to be stronger for getting through it is going to help you in order to face that hard reality, face the reality that you're dealing with. You could think, oh, I never thought I would ever be in a position like this, or I never thought I would ever find myself facing a reality as far as having to face this reality. When it comes to mentally, have that mental perspective of whatever comes my way, whatever reality I have to deal with, is what it is. I'm going to have to deal with it, and I'm going to get through it as strongly as I can, and I'm not going to let anything come in the way of me reaching the place that I need to be, regardless of what reality I'm faced with. Facing reality, like I said, the reality that you're facing when it comes to mentally is only going to make you more mentally stronger. It's only going to make you a more powerful being, a more powerful, have you, stepping into a more powerful state of mind, the harder, the more difficult reality that you have to face. So you're going to have to go through things, no matter what that may be. So just thinking that, oh, mentally I'm always going to be in this certain space when it comes to mentally. A time comes where you're going to be faced with the reality of something that you never thought was going to happen at an instance, or something that you thought could happen in your mental state of being. This is an example that happened to me. I was literally thinking, okay, something could happen right at this point. Not more than a minute and a half later, bam, thing happens. I'm immediately having to face that reality when it comes to mentally. And what I did in that circumstance is just stop, take a minute, face this reality when it comes to mentally. It's not as big deal as it seems. As long as I'm still here perceiving what I'm perceiving when it comes to mentally, I'm going to make it through this. I'm going to be able to deal with whatever I need to deal with facing this reality as far as it comes to mentally. I'm going to be mentally strong through this. I'm going to have that mental perseverance through this trial, through this challenge, through this obstacle, through this hard reality that I'm facing. And therefore, you will be able to face the reality when it comes to mentally. When it comes to physically, you may find yourself dealing with a situation where something happens to you, or something happens to around you, or in the surroundings of you, or whatever, that may have you facing a reality. Facing that reality is important to continue on pushing forward, to continue on being a strong version of yourself, to continue on carrying on those strong actions that you need in order to face that reality. Physically, that can be protecting yourself, that can be physically putting in the work that needs to be done. Physically, it could be doing the right actions in order to set yourself up for success when facing that reality. Facing the reality can be tough when it comes to physically, but that tough reality that you have to face is only going to make you stronger physically. It's only going to show you your path physically. It's only going to show you what is the right actions to have when it comes to physically. It's only going to keep showing you and showing you through facing that harsh reality. Okay, how are we going to move throughout this? How are we going to face this reality? And through facing that reality, you're going to come up with ways that you can continuously face that reality, ways that you can continuously keep pushing forward when it comes to physically, where it doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter what you have to deal with. Could be the hardest thing that you've ever dealt with. Could be something that you never thought would come into your space when it comes to physically. Could be a certain place that you have to go that you never thought you'd have to go to physically. Could be a certain event that occurs that you never thought you would experience when it comes to physically. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to be physically strong enough and physically protected and physically capable of moving through and facing that reality, and like I said, continuously overcoming those challenges, continuously overcoming those obstacles, continuously overcoming whatever it is that comes into your reality when it comes to physically. Physically, you got to keep putting in that work, because shit's gonna happen. Stuff's gonna happen. You're gonna think that, oh, this is gonna affect physically my reality. This is gonna affect the things that I have going for me when it comes to my reality physically. This is gonna affect my money. This is gonna affect my health. This is gonna affect the people around me. This is gonna affect the way that I'm seen or observed when it comes to physically. First of all, none of that shit matters as long as you're still being who you are when it comes to physically. You're still you at your core when it comes to physically, and you're still going to continue on pushing that self and that part of you forward, regardless of what reality you have to deal with, whether that's a harsh reality, difficult reality, whatever that may be. You're going to continuously push forward. If the reality that you're facing when it comes to physically is uncertain, find certainty through that uncertainty by being in your power when it comes to physically, not allowing this harsh reality or that reality that you have to face to overcome your physical state of being, not allowing it to have you out of your power, regardless of what that may be, regardless of what's going on around you, what's occurring in your physical state of being, in your physical surroundings, person, places, or things that you're dealing with that is presenting possibly a reality that you have to face it. You're only going to be stronger for it. You're not going to become weaker for it. The only time you're going to be weaker for it is if you let that circumstance, you let that situation, you let that physical external situation outweigh your power, outweigh your influence that you have, which is your ability to continuously put in that work, to continuously protect yourself, and to continuously be in your power when facing the reality when it comes to physically. When it comes to emotionally facing reality, there's going to be harsh realities that you got to face, stuff that you're not going to want to do, stuff that's going to be difficult when it comes to emotionally, things that happen that may have an effect on your emotional state of being. For a time being, you may think shit's just not right, shit should be a different way, or I should be feeling a different way about this, or the reality that I'm facing right now is not what I want or what I feel I should be going through right now. Put that stuff aside and realize that you getting through this reality, you facing this reality that's put in your path, that's put in your way, is going to get you to a space that is more emotionally powerful, that is more emotionally stable, that is more emotionally independent from the difficult times, that is going to be finding a space emotionally detached from those difficult times. As long as you are in your power, you're constantly, you're facing a harsh reality, you got to keep going through it. You got to, no matter what you feel, no matter how you feel about it, no matter how the reality that you're facing is going to make you feel, regardless of that, you got to be strong. You got to be in your power. You got to have that emotional intuition to know that, hey, whatever reality I'm dealing with, doesn't matter. I'm going to continuously push forward to continuously face that reality and not let whatever reality I have to face outweigh me when it comes to emotionally. I'm not going to not face what I have to face just because, oh, I feel a certain way, just because people want me to feel a certain way, just because my reality that I have to face is wanting me to feel a certain way. I'm going to have my own emotional intelligence to be able to be in my own emotional power to continuously move forward, continuously getting through any obstacle, any challenge, anything that comes my way. You're going to have to deal with stuff that you don't want to deal with. You're going to have to deal with stuff that makes you feel like you're set back. You're going to have to deal with stuff that makes you feel like you're losing things. You're going to have to deal with stuff, facing realities that may make you feel weak. You're gonna have to deal with stuff like facing emotional realities that may make you feel harsh, that may make you feel challenged, that may make you feel at a crossroads against all odds. Whatever that may be, continue pushing forward and you will reach a space that is more emotionally stable. The more and more you put in that work, the more and more you step into your power when it comes to emotionally, when facing this reality, you're going to get through, and you're going to be honest with yourself. You're going to be in check with yourself. You're going to be emotionally, I'm facing this reality, and that's all. I know what I have to face. I know that this is the reality. It is what it is. And when it comes to emotionally, there's nothing that has ever been clear. There's nothing that I don't want to do in order to improve or in order to get through whatever it is I'm dealing with, regardless of how I feel, regardless of how emotionally I'm feeling, regardless of how the situation wants you to emotionally feel. Regardless of that, you're going to continuously push forward and stay emotionally protected. So this is just a good video for anyone going through anything, and at the end of the day, we're all going to go through things, so anyone can relate to this. So if you're watching this video, go ahead, show some support, and in any event, let's get into spiritually facing a reality. You can be dealing and facing a reality that has you on your path spiritually. You feel as if this is a spiritual attack, and that's for sure could be the case. It absolutely could for sure be the case, and you're gonna have to deal with stuff like that. You're gonna have to deal with people, projecting their negativity on you, people projecting their insecurities on you, people projecting their spiritual weakness or their spiritual misunderstanding or spiritual botness or spiritual flukery or just backwards living that at the end of the day they might not even know their spirit and their body, regardless of how they treat their body. That is going to have an effect on their spiritual awareness, have an effect on their spiritual reality that they live in and exist in. So you're going to have all sorts of things happening, whether that be people projecting things onto you when it comes to spiritually, the reality that you're in, the spiritual experiences that you're having, putting you into a spiritual space where you have to face reality of what you're dealing with, places that you're going that are going to have certain energies, spiritual energies that are either for or against you, and you're going to have to face that reality, whatever it is that you're dealing with. There's going to be things, there's going to be objects that you're going to deal with that are going to have you dealing with specific energies, dealing with specific spiritual ties and energetic ties to those person, places, or things that are going to cause you to face the reality. Facing that reality is going to get you through that, and on that path, that is a spiritual path, that is a spiritual purpose, you're going to find purpose, you're going to find meaning, you're going to find wisdom and knowledge through facing that reality. Not by being weak, not by, falling to your knees as opposed, or in view of, or in receive of other people's delusion, or in receive of something like a spiritual attack affecting you or whatever that may be. Regardless of what that is, you got to continue on being that strong spirit that you are. Continue on not giving a damn what reality you have to experience, not giving a damn what reality you have to face, and staying in your power when it comes to spiritually. And therefore you can prove to yourself that whatever it is you're going through, whatever reality you have to face, you're a spiritually God, you're a spiritual OG, you're a spiritual real one, and nothing's going to come in your way. You're always staying spiritually protected. Therefore, you're mentally protected, and you're spiritually, physically, and emotionally protected through whatever reality that you have to face. Power to the ones that are being real when it comes to mentally. Power to the ones that are being real when it comes to physically. Power to the ones that are being real when it comes to emotionally. Power to the ones that are being real when it comes to spiritually. Power to those who are doing that and being real regardless of whatever circumstance you're dealing with, regardless of whatever reality that you have to face. And not only that, but power to those who are getting through things mentally. Power to those who are going through things emotionally, spiritually, physically. Power to those that are being real through those experiences and who are facing the reality regardless of what that may be, even if it's something that you have to go through. Even if it's a reality that you have to face, a reality that you have to experience, that you have to continuously put work in, a reality that you have to experience, that you have to continuously be real. Regardless of what happens physically, regardless of what's going on in your surroundings, regardless of what reality you have to face when it comes to physically, regardless of what reality you have to face when it comes to your surroundings, regardless of what reality you have to face when it comes to mentally, regardless of what things you have to think, regardless of what you're thinking, regardless of what reality you have to experience when it comes to your mental state of being, regardless of the reality you have to experience when it comes to your emotional state of being, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how others are going to make you feel, regardless of how different places or things are going to make you feel, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever happens, you got to be spiritually strong and continue on going on. I'm out.